In June 2025, NATO leaders rolled out the red carpet in The Hague for the US President Donald Trump. It seems after years of tension, walkouts, and threats to leave the alliance altogether, Trump is back in the political spotlight with the alliance and NATO is treading carefully. This time, the charm offensive was undeniable. NATO allies went above and beyond to accommodate Trump, praising his past demands for higher defense spending, avoiding public disputes, and even adjusting schedules to suit his preferences. But beneath the pleasantries, serious questions remain. As part of NATO's Hague charm offensive, Trump was granted the rare honor of staying overnight at the ornate royal palace of Dutch King Willem-Alexander before the summit. The king hosted a three-course meal for leaders prepared by 20 chefs. At the start of the summit, other NATO leaders lined up to praise Trump. Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda suggested the alliance adopt the motto, "Make NATO Great Again." There was nothing subtle about NATO's strategy to keep Trump on board. Rutte gushed with compliments in a message to Trump, made public by the US president as he flew to The Hague. "You will achieve something no American president in decades could get done. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win," Rutte said. Right before the summit, in another sign of chumminess with Trump, Rutte reacted to the US president's comments berating Iran and Israel by saying that "Daddy has to sometimes use strong language." In the past, during his presidency from 2017 to 2021, Trump repeatedly called NATO obsolete, questioned its value, and even threatened to pull the US out unless allies paid more. While many leaders dismissed it as bluster, behind closed doors, they were deeply alarmed. However, after the summit, this time, Trump's previously harsh rhetoric on NATO was replaced by something very different. "I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them, protect them," Trump told reporters. Trump's foreign policy mantra, "America First," didn't leave much room for multilateralism in the past. Trump had consistently pushed the narrative that alliances like NATO benefited European nations at the expense of the US, a view that fundamentally clashed with how the alliance has operated since its founding in 1949. NATO, after all, is a collective security alliance. An attack on one member is considered an attack on all. That idea, Article 5 of the NATO Treaty, is the backbone of the alliance. So why the flattery now? Why the appeasement? Well, Trump's past threats have had the alliance worried. With war scenarios exploding all over the globe and the Russia-Ukraine war still continuing, the NATO needs its most powerful member to remain steadfast. Trump's presidential win has alarmed European leaders. Many believe that he might follow through on his threats, potentially even pulling the US out of NATO. That would be a seismic blow to the alliance. NATO officials will now be watching to see whether Trump's newfound enthusiasm for the alliance is reflected in his administration's ongoing review of US military posture, as Europe relies heavily on US forces for its security. However, they fear that Trump has been announcing pulling troops out of Europe and may retract from its allies altogether. Behind the scenes, some allies are preparing for that possibility. Several nations have significantly increased their defense budgets, partly to meet the 2% GDP target Trump pushed for, but also to reduce dependence on the US altogether. In fact, French President Emmanuel Macron has long warned about the need for strategic autonomy, a Europe less reliant on American military muscle. If Trump's unpredictability continues, those calls could grow louder. For now, Trump appears more reserved, even complimentary toward NATO's spending progress. But that could change with a single tweet, a rally soundbite, or a perceived snub. Allies know this. Flattery might buy NATO time. But it won't fix the underlying problem, a growing divide between American leadership and European security priorities. The alliance will have to decide, bend further, or brace for a future without its largest backer.